Hey guys, what's up? It's TennyBucks here. Welcome back to another video. I apologize for making this video so late. It's been a week since this episode premiered. I just really haven't had an interest or want or really time to watch it. But I actually did just watch it this morning, and I'm here to give my thoughts about that. And it's on the third episode now of Scooby Doo and Guess Who. Guess Who. I really still wish they would have named it Guess Who Scooby Doo. It just sounds so much better to say. It rolls off the tongue way easier. But I digress. This episode is guest starring Wanda Sykes, as well as Magilla Gorilla, for some reason. I will say this. It's my favorite episode of the three so far. It's not terrible. It's not bad per se, but it's also not good or it's good. It's a good episode. It's not great. It's not bad. It's like right in the middle. It's an average episode of Scooby Doo. I'll say that. I honestly really, this is going in expecting nothing, just because the first two episodes, the first one was okay. I didn't really like it too much. The second one, I was almost seriously getting a headache from watching it. I apologize if I sounded like too pessimistic in my last video of the series, just because I just wasn't feeling it for that episode. It just really wasn't a good episode. But this one, there are annoying things in it, and there are poorly written things in it, but I laughed out loud a few times in this. Let's talk about the episode, like the writing, just the mystery, the pet store. The beginning of the episode starts with them like all in the car, and Scooby is just going berserk because he needs a Scooby snack, which I hated how that was so over the top. Like I get it. It's funny that Scooby and Shaggy are hungry every episode, and that I like that as their part of their character trait. But they were never over the top dramatic about it in the past. Like, you know what I mean? Not dramatic, but they've been dramatic in the past. But to the point where they were repeatedly saying it where they crashed the car, or nearly crashed the car. Like that was, I would have liked if they would have just said, "I want a Scooby snack" or whatever, and then he bugged Fred about it, and then he pulled over to the pet store. That'd have been funny or whatever, make some comedy in that. But just him like going berserk, that was just really dumb. I hated that so much. Honestly, the one thing that I don't like that they do is overuse the comedy for Scooby and Shaggy. Like, more so Scooby. Shaggy had some really funny lines in this, but Scooby had funny lines too, but they'd always, like, reiterate them by saying the joke twice, or just, like, beating over the head with how it's supposed to be funny, and then I was like, it was funny the first time you said it, you didn't have to do that thing a second time. Like, there's a few instances I can name, but, like, I just wish they would have kept with the rule of just having it done once and then just like not doing the joke twice. You know what I mean? It just seems like really, I don't want to say lazy, but it just wasn't funny when they would like reiterate jokes or whatever. And I think Scooby is both the best and worst part of the series, which is really bold for me to say as a gigantic Scooby Doo fan, because I love this series to death. I'll never stop watching it, no matter how bad it gets, to be completely honest. Of course, I'll give my opinions, and I'll say if it's bad or good or whatnot. And I'm not going to be, like, biased towards something. I would feel like I'd be less than biased, like I said in the past before, since I'm such a big fan of it. I want it to be great. I don't want it just to be average, I want it to be great. And I'm not trying to, like, harp on the writers or animators or anything like that. The animation of this one was a lot better than I think in the second one. Even the monster design too was a lot better. The second one really didn't even feel like a mystery, just because it was just ghost Civil War soldiers or whatever, and they were just so one note and basic. This one, it was one note and basic, and the mystery was kind of a cop out, just because at the end it ended up being Mr. Peebles. I would have liked if they would have introduced Magilla Gorilla at the beginning. Like when I saw a shadow, I was like, okay, that's clearly Magilla Gorilla, just because as a longtime fan of cartoons. I was just like, it's clearly him. Why not just introduce him at the beginning of the show? Have him do some funny comedic bits. That'd been funny if we had him through the whole episode, and he was just being like over the top, and not over the top, but like comedic. Like I literally laughed out loud when Fred was like, "We couldn't have done with this without you, big guy," and then he just he like pats Fred on the back, but it like slams him across the room. I literally laughed out loud. That was the funniest part of the episode. I think there were some funny lines in there, don't get me wrong, that made me laugh, but that was like that physical humor, which usually isn't like something that gets to me or makes me laugh. That made me laugh out loud. But like, just imagine if we had him the whole episode. It would be so cool. I don't know, man. Just the whole idea of him being. Sorry, I heard like a woodpecker right there or someone. The whole idea of Mr. Peebles being behind all of it was so like I said, one note. This show isn't really. If you're a fan of mystery or like I know mysteries in the past of Scooby Doo have pretty much all been mostly ridiculous and dramatically over dramatized, or just kind of one note and funny sort of things. Like it's not really meant to be taken too seriously, which is fine. But I always liked the tone of the old ones. How it was a lot, not I don't want to say darker, but it was a lot more ominous. Like you always felt like there was there's stake in it. To like the characters actually solving the mystery, getting home safely or whatever, solving it without any bad things happening. But in this one, it just felt like it was good, but I just wish there was more to the mystery. I'm glad they actually explained some stuff in this one. Like in the past few, they've explained stuff, but it's been like it was so fast and like so under the table. But this one, they actually went through and explained like, well, this is why this happened, and this is why that happened. The trap in this to catch the monster was hilarious. I'm glad they actually used like things that you'd find in that environment, like even though it's over the top and ridiculous, which is the best part. I think about the traps in the show is that they've always been ridiculous, and I'm glad they're going back to that mantra where it's just like we're going to use the most ridiculously convoluted and complex thing to catch this monster, and it's not gonna work, and it's funny. It's like, what was it, a fish bowl or a giant fish tank, like kitty litter or something disgusting, and water. It's like that's disgusting, but it's hilarious. Like that was actually funny. Man, the only thing I would critique about this episode that I really just didn't like is the fact that Scooby talks way too much. And I don't mind the fact that he talks too much. It's just the fact that what he says is so over the top and really not too funny. And that I honestly like it when he has more of like a rambly like not accent, but like he has more of like a gruff talk to him, like where you can't understand him. He's like barely understandable. You know what I mean? But in this one, he's so fluent in English and just like talking. I mean, he still has a ready voice, but it's like you can understand every word he says, and everyone's just like kind of going along with it, which is fine. But like I said, if he talks more than I feel like than anybody else in the show, and usually what he says isn't all that funny. Like some of it is, but like the other stuff he says is just almost annoying. Like, I want a Scooby snack. I want a Scooby snack. I want a Scooby snack. Like, geez, we understand what you want a Scooby snack. Say it one time. Ask somebody for it. They pull over, and then you can have the comedy in it, and that's awesome. But just saying that repeatedly was just like, oh my god, is this gonna get any better? And luckily it did. I'm super glad about that, because if it didn't, if it was just that one note comedy stuff where it was just like the same joke, saying the same thing over and over again, I might have actually gone insane. Even though it's only like 23-minute episodes or 26 minutes. I really like that Wanda Sykes ended up let's talk about Wanda Sykes, the star of the episode, the guest star. She's really funny. She had some really funny lines, like when she said she's gonna pop the monster and the kisser. That was so funny. They said that twice. I didn't mind that one being said twice, because at the end she said it like once, and then they waited like 10 minutes, and then at the end she was like, "You're lucky I didn't pop you in the kisser," or whatever. Like, that's funny. I didn't mind that. If a joke is said more than once, it's okay, as long as it's like not right back to back, like you're explaining it, like you're talking to a 6-year-old audience, which is fine if you have 6-year-old audience members, but just the people that are older, that mostly are going to watch the show, because it's going to be like the kids that have parents that buy Boomerang for them, or adults that go back and want to see these guest stars because they're fans of the original new Scooby Doo movies. And they're going to be annoyed. Even the younger audiences that understand this are going to be annoyed when the fact that it's like you're saying the same joke right next to each other, the same thing, just trying to explain it. Like, it feels like it's almost like not patronizing, but like it just feels almost condescending. That sounds really weird to say, but it's like, did you not understand this joke the first time we said it? Like, you better hear it again. I don't know. I'm being way too harsh on it, I understand, but at the same time, I like to be critical of it, because, like I said, I love Scooby Doo. It's my favorite franchise, I'm pretty sure. At least my favorite cartoon franchise. And I don't want to be, like, fake about the way I portray my reactions to the show, because that's toxic and just bad for everybody involved, including you guys, just because I don't want to lie and just say, oh yeah, it was a 10 out of 10 episode, and you guys should go buy Boomerang for it. Like, I'm not gonna say that. I would, like I said before, if it's going the same way it's been going, I would wait until Boomerang releases all the episodes when it gets down to that point, like a few months, and then just go from there and buy it and then binge it, or do a 7-day free trial and then binge it. Because honestly, it's a lot of fun, but at the same time, it's not worth like paying, what is it, $5 a month, and then end up paying like $30 or something by the end of it all. I'm assuming it's gonna go probably for about 6 months. I don't know how many episodes there are. It actually might be way shorter than that. I think it's like 13 episodes or something. But yeah, I really like this episode. It was good. There were some annoying parts to it, sure, but there were genuinely moments in this where I thought it was Scooby Doo. I was laughing out loud for some of it. It's definitely better than the first two. The guest stars, I really hope that they bring back Scooby Dumb. Or Scrappy even. I might do a video about Scrappy because I feel like he gets he's kind of too harshly criticized. Don't get me wrong, he's been annoying in the past, but regardless, I want to see new or old characters like come back, like Hanna-Barbera cartoons. That'd be so cool. Characters that is, but I want them to be written in for the sole purpose of them being in the episode. You know, I don't want them to be like one-note things that just solve the mystery. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching this episode. Keep calm and trust your instincts. Let me know what you guys thought of this episode. And there's a new one actually coming out today, and I will hopefully be watching that. Sorry for taking so long on this review. I'll see you later. Peace out.